Welcome everyone, we're talking today about Steamboat Willie, which the copyright has finally expired on. Now before the copyright finally was set to expire back in 2003, Disney lobbied the US Congress to basically give it an extension, just give it 20 more years, which now January 1st, 2024, bam, boom, here we are. We can now watch it anywhere we want, distribute it, all that stuff. Obviously Mickey Mouse the other versions of him were still not in public domain, like a lot of people are saying. He was the most famous scene from it, of course, Mickey Mouse whistling. Just an iconic scene. This is what they use now in front of the Walt Disney Animation logo a lot of times before a film starts. Voicing Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, the Parrot, and Pete, Walt Disney. Yeah, which makes a lot of sense. Now you're also probably wondering when this was released, was this the first official Mickey Mouse cartoon? In a way it was. Now this was the first cartoon that was widely released. Plane Crazy, which is another Mickey Mouse short, was already done along with some other, another little short. The thing was, Walt was not really putting those out there, especially because the Jazz Singer came out, and they wanted to have something that was synchronized to the audio, the music, all that into one video versus where it used to be where they would just have kind of cartoons that were more exciting cartoons and whatnot. So this parrot right here, this is Walt Disney. He's gonna laugh at him. And this is yeah. Now let's talk about Gang War, which is the film in 1928 that this was released with, way back in the day. So yeah, but most people actually really enjoyed the cartoon more than they did the film, which is kind of makes sense considering how big Disney is. People really still talk about it. And obviously this is the first appearance of a lot of the characters, though Pluto has still not been introduced, Mickey's faithful dog. We do get Pete, his his enemy, who's gonna spit right now, and he's gonna spit again. Yeah, I love this old animation style. I think everyone loves it. If you ever played Kingdom Hearts 2, there's a whole level dedicated to this Mickey Mouse version. Now, the reviewers back in the day from Variety, this is back in 1928, said not the first animated cartoon to be synchronized with sound effects, but the first to attract favorable attention. So yeah, back in the day, this got huge stuff. Now, also right here is a little bit of a mistake. See the FOB tag on this cow? Watch this FOB tag. There's going to be a little bit of I don't know if you want to call it a mistake or what you want to call it, but watch the tag. The tag will disappear a little bit after the cow is lifted onto the ship. Still there, blah, 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 blah. You can still see it. It's about to change. And it's gone. Magically, it is gone. So Walt had to sell his own car to get this produced. He also, since he was out in California, he had to go to New York to get the sound done. And so on September 15th, the first recording session was held. There was a 17-piece orchestra and 3 seasoned sound effect men. Unfortunately, the results weren't that great, so Disney had to kind of get a bouncing ball basically on screen to help the conductor to get him to conduct the way he would like the short to be conducted. But after that, it all was smooth sailing after that. I got a lot better for them. You may ask where Walt got the idea for this was. Mickey working as a steamboater. And this actually came from a comedian, Buster Keaton, and he did a recent film, I believe, or short called Steamboat Bill Jr., and this gave Walt the idea. Now, since the whole idea of sound in films being mixed is pretty new, Walt and staff had to kind of make up their own idea, so they didn't know how to really get the soundtrack to even match up at first. So what happened was they got the idea from one of the people that worked for Walt's mother's was actually a music teacher, and kind of said well, why don't you kind of play the cartoon and then kind of do the effects at the same time in the music, and you can sync it up a little bit better. So that's what Walt did. They actually projected it on a sheet at someone's house, the bed sheet, and literally played it and then did the sound effects and the music, trying to make it sync as much as they could, and they said the test results were just great. So since they were so great, Walt really was okay with selling his car, like I said, getting a second mortgage, all this kind of stuff. He was just doing as much as he could. He had to take a new mortgage out in the studio, basically. He had to put everything up for this. This was Walt's big play until, of course, Snow White, and then, of course, after that, Disneyland. And coming up soon a little bit is a deleted scene. I'll get to that once we're there. Also, funny enough, Steamboat Willie didn't hit Europe until 1931. So that means Mickey Mouse in no way was over there for a couple of years. It took a little bit longer for him to get over there. And this obviously was a lot of things. We just, the animals kind of dancing. It's also that weird thing of Mickey's kind of an animal, but then he treats the animals like animals. starts right here in his first cartoon that was debuted. Once again, there were other cartoons like Plain Crazy, but those really were widely distributed, so really they kind of count Steamboat Willie. And so some of this too, like Mickey kind of doing this, Walt actually regretted this. Walt has like statements you can look up where he wasn't really a big fan of like stuff like this, like swinging a cat. He doesn't like treating the animals this poorly. Obviously, it's kind of a gag thing, but most people now, like, we like animals for the most part. So when you see some of this, it's obviously not abuse, it's a cartoon, but like, it just doesn't bring as much joy as maybe it used to back in the day. And I think even Walt at the time kind of like realized that people love animals, and so not to treat them all so much like this, although it's a little harsh in some of the scenes. But this is obviously the first thing. Now, this was a deleted scene. It was added on Disney Plus later on. They actually added the scene later on with and it's like I think that they were always with the piglets, but it's right coming up right now where Mickey's gonna do this, this is the scene that Walt really didn't enjoy that much. So he picks up the mama, and oh my gosh, poor mama, and does this. This was a deleted scene right here, and Walt was not a big fan of this scene, which probably makes sense why. Also, like it being deleted, he probably didn't feel that bad about it. Like at all. I just don't think he felt that bad at all about this scene. But luckily, it did come out on the Blu-ray, and I believe it's also on the Disney Plus version right here. And of course, you have like them playing with the goat here, making music. This is super classic imagery of stuff back in the day where anything can just make these magical notes. Now for the budget of the film, the estimated budget was about $4,986, or $75,000, $923 in the year 2020. So a good amount of money for one animated feature back then. But obviously, Star of the Legacy was totally worth it. And that's in with another little bit more trivia, which was Walt Disney basically animated most of this himself, and one of his friends, Carl Stalling, composed the score. And yeah, Walt basically just got this all done. And then afterwards, of course, it started a whole legacy, and we got Snow White and everything we've gotten now up to the 100 years of Disney. So comment below what your favorite Mickey Mouse short is or movie. My favorites would be Mickey Runaway Brain, which came out a while back and hasn't really been seen much since then, along with stuff like The Prince and the Pauper, which is really great. The animation on that is so amazing. And The Christmas Carol, which isn't really officially just a Mickey Mouse short, but it's got Mickey Mouse as one of the main players, so we're going to put it there. So yeah, comment below your favorite things for Mickey Mouse. Until next time, guys, we'll see you on the next journey.